Here's a Philco 90 that one of my customers picked up, and he did the woodwork on it. It's really beautiful. I'll take a look at the back of this in a minute. But before I took it out of the car, I made sure that the fins were all the way in on the capacitor. They're big, and if they get bent or broken, that would be a real problem. Okay, here's the back of the radio, and right off there's a big cover shield that goes over this and isolates each one of these tubes. That could cause some interference, but we'll see what happens. And this wire is frayed pretty well, and it's very, very bad down here. There's no way I'd want to plug that radio in. And there's something else that just doesn't seem right, so I'm going to take a look at the wiring diagram and some drawings. Here's the wiring diagram for this radio, and if you look in the lower left hand corner, this is the tube lineup for this radio. And looking at this information, I've discovered that every other tube is in the wrong socket. Okay, after looking at the drawings, this is a 47 and this is a 27. They need to be reversed. Now, why somebody would plug them in that way, I have no idea. Plus, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and that is wrong, and this wire is wrong. In other words, this wire here needs to go over here. That tube back there needs to get swapped with this one. This is the oscillator tube. This is the 27. And then the wire that's on here will go on that 24 over here. So I'm sure glad that my client didn't plug this thing in. Now I have spent several hours checking out every coil, including the power transformer. Okay, I've been working on this Philco, checking things out, tested all the tubes, and now I'm going to see if that transformer is any good. And what I'm going to do, even though I don't have the speaker hooked up, just to make sure I don't have any high voltage DC going through there, I'm going to take out the rectifier tube. And then I'm going to turn up my variac here to about 80 volts. Okay. Turn off the lights so you can see this. And I've checked the filaments. Barely see that one. And this one down here, you can barely, you can't see it because the filament's burned out. Turn the light back on. Now down there I checked with an AC voltmeter, and between the small holes at 80 volts I got about 400 AC, and the large hole, which is the filaments, that was about 3.5 volts. So that's about right. So that transformer is good. As we just saw, the power transformer is good, which is a big relief. But someone has substituted that rectifier tube for that 80 a 5Z3, and it's weak, needs to be replaced anyway, and I do that anyway because the 5Z3 filament draws 3 amps and the 80 rectifier tube filament draws 2 amps. This radio has a few issues that I'm going to have to address. One of them that I found was the field coil is open on the speaker, so I may have to re-engineer the speaker if I can't find one, put a modern speaker in there, and then re-engineer the power supply to make the radio work. Also, the primary associated with the first 24 tube is open. So I'm going to have to unsolder that and rewind that coil. Also, the tube filament for that 24 is open. So these are the problems that I've found so far, and I believe these are the major items that I'm going to have to repair. And of course, I'm still going to have to replace all of the capacitors. But it is a very beautiful radio.